G'day folks, and welcome back to the channel for a showcase video of my patch 1.2 hardcore Vitality Blood Knight build. I've had several requests for a Blood Knight build, so here it is, and I've got to say the physical Force Wave Spammer is the only other Deathknight build I've played that has come close to being this strong. The footage in the background here is me killing Chupacabra in the campaign map from full life while not moving or attacking, and doing it while still leveling the devotions for this build. I'll also note here that this is not a retaliation build. This is a possible endgame build for the Force Wave Deathknight I recently leveled, and you can find the full guided playthrough of that series in the playlist section of the channel and linked below in the description. I recommend leveling this character, like just about every soldier I play, as a physical Force Wave spammer. Force Wave is so strong it's become a meme, and I know a lot of people think it's boring, but it is by far and away the best leveling skill available to a soldier, and easily in the top 5 leveling skills in the game. While you can level as a Necromancer with Bone Harvest, it will be slow without access to much Vitality resistance shredding, and this build requires a level 94 set and a level 90 relic to work. You will need all of the items to make this build work, and missing any single item will vastly reduce its power, or depending on the item, completely brick it. With that said, and after Cooper dies, let's get into the build. First up, let's cover the items. The main set we're using is the Blood Knight set, and we're using all 4 pieces. The set bonuses are the usual fare, with 2 set being percent damage, the 3 set being some Fizz Resist, attack speed and OA, and the full set bonus will grant you a player scaled pet that has a resistant shredding aura that will also leech life for the player. Also included in the full set bonus is weapon damage added to Bone Harvest and full conversion of Counter-Strike to Vitality damage, as well as cooldown reduction and added damage for Counter-Strike. On the individual pieces, we get a lot of lifesteal and pluses to various skills, and the helmet enhances Counter-Strike and Bone Harvest with Vitality damage and cooldown reduction. The amulet gives us another player scaled pet, or rather 4 of them, to follow us around, and these will pulse an AoE that does bleeding and vitality damage. Other armor pieces include the gold set gloves for its added lifesteal and range on Bone Harvest. Go ahead and ignore the pets, they are pet bonus scaled and basically do nothing but look cool. We're also using the Bone Shatter Treads for physical resistance, vitality damage, and the vitality damage proc when hit. This one doesn't show that it leeches, except it does because it has weapon damage percentage on it. Morganeth's leg plates round out our armor choices. This one is taken for +2 to Bone Harvest and another defensive damage proc. Our relic provides us with our main spam attack. Reaping Strikes is basically Blade Arc. It does vitality damage base and doesn't require 28 points to max it out, so it's better. We're also getting +1 to Necromancer skills here. Our belt is Lunar Valgoth's Waistguard, and the affixes were taken to fix resistance holes. This belt provides up to 60% Chaos to Vitality conversion and +1 to Necromancer skills. It also single-handedly fixes our stun resist and improves the shield a little bit. For the medal, I've got a Namadea's Eye, and again you can use affixes here to fix resistances, get some stats or offensive ability, or get some more lifesteal like mine has. If, like me, you didn't go hostile with Barrowhome, you can either use a second character to farm this medal, or you can substitute for either the Mythical Undying Oath for some extra skill points in Dread, large health bonus, and some vitality damage, or the Mythical Mark of Impurity, which I don't have, but it has a lifesteal and Nova proc and some vitality damage and resistances on it. The options here are not amazing, regardless of which ones you go for. Namadea's will be better overall because of the bonus flat damage, but they'll all work just fine. For rings, we're using double resistant shredding procs, the first of which is the mythical Signet of the Fallen, which has the Go Faster juice as well as both flat and percentage vitality damage, and the proc which triggers on a crit. Our other ring is the mythical Curse Bearer for, again, the resistant shredding proc. This time only adding percent vitality damage, but the proc will also slow targets in an area around you and triggers when hit rather than when hitting. You could also substitute the Void Heart ring here. This one also shreds vitality resistances, but this is more of a chaos ring with a vitality side. Morganeth's ring down here and Basti's Ring of the Magi, which I don't have, are also options here, though they are strictly inferior to the resistance shredding procs, and Morganeth's rings will clutter your screen with their tentacle spam. It is disappointing for the Basti ring, considering how hard Major's rings are to farm. They should honestly be better. For our shield, we're using a Colossal Fortress, and I recommend vendor shopping this from Hiram in the Steel Cap District. Make sure you get Durable as a prefix, and then either Annihilation for damage, or something else for fixing resistances or defense. Durable should cap out around 32% physical resistance. Last up is the weapon. There are two options here, and I honestly don't think I can tell a difference in the feel between them while actually playing the character. The character sheet is telling me that Soul Bearer here does more damage and heals for 4% every time you kill anything, which is nice, but it is very hard to say no to another resistance shredding proc on the Ravager's Bite, especially when it's 15%. I think the Soul Bearer is going to be better for clearing trash, but the Ravager's Bite should win out for killing one big target. So I've chosen to go with Ravager's Bite, as clearing trash is not something this build struggles with. Next up is the skills. This build is a lot more evenly split between Soldier and Necromancer than other Death Knight builds I've covered, and the main skill in the Soldier tree is Counter-Strike. We've converted most of the damage to Vitality, and then added a bunch of bleeding on top of that, and this provides us with about 27% of the damage back in healing. With it triggering every 0.4 seconds and doing AoE damage around us, this translates to a lot of healing in a crowd. We've also taken all the usual suspects in Soldier, even taking the shield passive this time, and maxing out Overguard. In the Necromancer tree, we've got our main spell, Bone Harvest, with both the base skill and Soul Harvest being maxed out, and Dread in the middle being left at 1 point due to there not being enough points to max it out. Harbinger of Souls is our exclusive skill. Ill Omen is taken for damage, enemy damage reduction, and it's being used as a devotion procer. Mark of Torment is taken because this is a Necromancer build and you pretty much just take this at 10 points if you can. And lastly, we have Spectral Binding for a whole bunch of flat Aether damage, which is being converted fully to Vitality and physical damage. A bunch of health and some offensive ability there. On the Spectral Wrath modifier here, again we have Vitality and Aether damage, we have a minus 23% attack speed retaliation, and also we are shredding 30% physical, Vitality, and Aether resistance. The last thing to cover before the gameplay demo is devotions. I want to start here by thanking Crab Turtle for his help on this tree. The one I had been using was okay, but this one is better. This screen is from grimtools.com, and you can find a link to this page in the description below. Grimtools has added this lovely new feature at the bottom here, where you can slide along and see right from the start how to spend your points in what order in order to get to the end tree. This tree is pretty simple, there's not a lot of respecking involved, so it should be fairly easy to follow anyway. In terms of the procs, we're starting with our two circuit breakers. We have the Tortoise and the Ghoul. Then for damage procs, we have the Bat here, which also leeches life. We have Scales of Volkama, which also shreds resistances in addition to leeching life and energy. And then we have Ratosh the Veil Warden down here, which is our main source of minus vitality resistance and also does damage. We have the Lantern, the Spider, the Hawk, the Lotus, and the Jackal, which are all there for minor bonuses and mostly for constellation bonuses for colors that we need. We have 3 points in Olzuan's Torch. This is for crit, OA, some resistances, and more OA. And our last tier 3 is the Abomination, where we have taken only the right side for this damage proc. Lastly, to show how the build performs, this is a run I did of Shattered Realm Shard 80, and while I would normally double the speed of a Shattered Realm run to speed it up, this one is fast enough that I'm going to run it at normal speed. This is a 6-minute run where I easily clear all the bosses and nemesis I run into, and I think walking through Shattered Realm 80 as easily as this build does is a good benchmark to say that this build is more than just good. I'm going to let this run now, and I'll see you at the end of it. Timestamps are in the description below if you wish to skip forwards. That was Shattered Realm 80, completed in just 6 minutes with the 3 manifestations of hunger, Gabal Thun, Kaisan, Dravis, and Benjar kills. 6 minutes is decently fast for a Shattered Realm 80 clear, especially with half of the boss room, Dravis and Kaisan, having very high vitality resistances. I'd also like to take this opportunity to point out that this character's name may be familiar to you, if you watch the Aether Deathknight video. I ran out of Deathknight characters before I ran out of builds to try, so this is Malganet, my Aether DK. Why is this relevant? Well, because Shattered Realm was completed with several under-leveled devotions. Over here, Abominable Might is only level 13 out of 15, and over here, Will of Ratosh is again level 13 out of 15. Upon first creating this character, I also made a pretty serious mistake with gearing, and I ended up running a previous Shattered Realm 80 with the first devotion tree and only 46% elemental resistances. In that run, I killed Fabius and Valderan without really noticing that I was taking almost triple damage from them. This build is a lot of fun and very powerful. I feel no hesitation in recommending it as a fun, tanky vampire build with built-in lifesteal and procs for days. This character has almost capped physical resistance, good armor, and almost everything it does steals life. In spite of how tanky it is, the damage doesn't feel particularly bad like you might expect from such a strong tank build. This is the best Deathknight build I've played, and only the physical Force Wave spammer comes close to it, being less tanky but doing more damage. That's the end of the video, however, and if you've made it this far, then I'd just like to thank you for watching and ask that you throw the video a like if you've enjoyed it or found it helpful. Stay tuned for more Grim Dawn 1.2 content, but that's going to be the end of this video, so thank you for watching, I'll see you in the next one, and goodbye for now.